In this video, I'm going to be walking you through everything you need to know to clear the third encounter of the new raid, Vow of the Disciple. This encounter is called Exhibition and comes just after the Caretaker and just before the final boss. I'll give a quick intro to the encounter with basic tips, and then we'll walk through every room one at a time and give you all the important information and helpful tips that you'll need to get through this thing. So I'll include timestamps for every room so you can easily more easily navigate through this video according to your needs. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so let's talk about this encounter so you can prep accordingly. This encounter is kind of like, I guess, the Atrax encounter from Deepstone Crypt, in so much that it requires every person on your raid team to execute their specific roles flawlessly. And the good news is that this is a relatively short encounter. It will only take you about 7 minutes from start to finish, so you don't have to be perfect for very long. This encounter is pure chaos and will test your team's ability to keep their heads cool and their comms clear for important information to be shared in the midst of all of this chaos. There will be void grenades, by the way, that will kill you in under a second on Contest Modifier, so get your void resist mods on as well. Think of this encounter like a complex machine or like a car. I mean, it's got a lot of parts, and if one of them isn't working, then nothing works. If the alternator's busted, car won't work. Out of gas, car won't work. Tire falls off, car won't work. I mean, you get the idea. So everybody needs to commit to their role and do it. It's really that simple. So get set up for ad control and make sure you can stun overload champions before we get rolling. And it's time to get started on room number 1. This room is what I'm going to call the entrance. This room, its sole purpose is to teach you the basic mechanic of this encounter. So take away the ads and the chaos, strip it down. This is the encounter in its simplest form. You have a relic in the middle, a door in front of you blocking your progression, and 2 offshoots or side rooms on the left and the right. To start the encounter, someone needs to pick up the Darkness Relic. The person who holds this relic has 2 very important jobs. First, their job is to extend the timer before it wipes your team. You will all have a debuff called Terminal Resonance during this entire encounter. If the timer hits 0, you all die and start over. To refresh this timer, the person with the Darkness Relic must kill the knight with the white shield. In the entrance room, they spawn one of these right in the middle where you pick up the relic. No one else can damage this enemy, only the relic holder can. The second main job of the relic holder is to read glyphs left behind by resonant glyph keepers. More on that in a second. So when you start the encounter, the knight with the white shield spawns front and center, but 2 other enemies are going to spawn as well. One in the left room, that left offshoot, and one in the right room. The one on the left is called a Glyph Keeper, and this is a Scorn Captain. The one on the right is a Taken Centurion called the Resonant Glyph Keeper. When the Glyph Keeper on the left dies, anyone who is not holding a relic can clearly see 3 glyphs left behind floating in the air. If you aren't holding a relic and can see these, you must read all 3 off to your team. When the Resonant Glyph Keeper dies, anyone holding a relic can see the glyphs left behind, while those without relics see nothing but an orange cloud. The relic holder has to read the 3 glyphs left behind by the Resonant Glyph Keeper and read them off. When the Resonant Glyph Keeper dies, anyone holding a relic can see... When the Resonant Glyph Keeper dies, anyone holding a relic can see the glyphs left behind, while those without relics see nothing but an orange cloud. The relic holder has to see the 3 glyphs left behind by the Resonant Glyph Keeper and read them off to the team. Your job is to find the glyph that is repeated both in the left sequence and in the right sequence. So if the left runes were Ascendant Plane, Knowledge, and Stop, and the right runes were Fleet, Stop, and Hive, then the common glyph would be Stop, the red square glyph. So you meet up at the door and then you shoot the symbol that is repeated. This will open the door and allow you to progress to the next room. Before we move on, a bit of advice. There are so many different callouts that people are using for these symbols. It's important that you all agree on a system of callouts that works for you, and everyone needs to know them. These symbols do have given names appointed by Bungie, and if you aim down sights at these glyphs, they'll actually be labeled for you. If you want to call them something different, that's fine, but label them all according to your preferences and have a cheat sheet pulled up if you need it. Some of them can get confusing and it's easy to mix some of them up. So commit these to memory. We mostly used the given callouts because we figured this would make it easier if we ever needed, to raid with different people or different teams. Using the universal callouts will make it easier to pop in and out of these other teams. Okay, so you're in the entrance to the first main room. You've opened the first door and you find yourselves in a foyer of sorts. In order to refresh your timer now, the person holding the Darkness Relic must place it in the pedestal in this room. You now have 2 relics to manage instead of 1, and everything is about to ramp up and get a little more complicated, so buckle up. Now, every room from here on out is going to get incrementally bigger and more complicated. So things are sort of going to be escalating into the final 3rd major room. To progress to the first major room, designate 2 people to carry the relics and split up into 2 teams. If you just carried a relic and dropped it, you'll have a debuff that makes it so that you can't pick up another relic for a short while. One team will go left out of the door, and one team will go right out of the door. The person who has the shield relic has a new job that we didn't see in the first room. Their job is to keep a new debuff at bay that will slowly be trying to kill the team. This debuff is called Pervading Darkness, and when it reaches 10 stacks, you die. This shield is a very powerful weapon too, so this person can be aggressive in taking out things like those hobgoblins as well. But they should get into a rhythm of oscillating back and forth from one side of the room to the other, from team to team, cleansing everyone as they go. They need to make a mental note of who they've cleansed, because the people that they're cleansing, they're going to have their hands full. They shouldn't have to call out for a cleanse, but certainly can if need be. To make the cleansing shield artifact carrier's job easier, I recommend that each team sticks to a similar route on their side of the room, and a similar cadence every time, and they stay close together. This is going to make it easier for the relic holder to know where to go, when to go there, and to know that when they cleanse, they're most likely getting everybody in one quick hit of the shield. If you're all running around doing your own thing, it's going to be hard for them to make sure that everyone is cleansed and also read the glyphs that they have to, and it's going to slow down their job, and the other team is going to be acquiring debuff stacks while they're chasing you down. So try and stick together. The next thing we got to talk about is the Darkness Relic Holder. This one is easy, honestly. Your job is to go with your designated team, but one side of the room will spawn a Resonant Glyph Centurion. Your job will be to support your team until the first pair of Glyph Keepers goes down. Then, rotate to the Resonant Glyph Keeper's location and read the runes that the other players without relics cannot see. When this pair of Glyph Keepers both die, a knight with a white shield, just like the entrance, will spawn at the far end of this first major room, right in front of the door that you're trying to open. If you have the Darkness Relic, read your runes, and then run to the front of the room and kill this knight immediately. This will extend the timer, delaying the wipe and giving your team more time. Okay, let's break down what the 2 teams going right and left will be facing. When you open the door, kill the ads on the other side and start moving to your side of the room. You will have a main platform that's risen up above the other areas. This will spawn 2 hobgoblins among all the other ads that you're facing. When these 2 hobgoblins are killed, it will queue up a Glyph Keeper to spawn in the same exact location. Kill the Glyph Keeper and read the runes before progressing. Figure out what the common rune is from the left side and the right side, and this will be the first of the 2 keys to open the door. Unlike the entrance room, this time you will need 2 repeat runes to open the door. So once you've cleared the first 2 Glyph Keepers, found the repeat rune, and killed the knight at the end of the room, now you'll all move forward and do the same thing again. This time, the new hobgoblins will be spawning on a lower platform. Kill them, do ad control. When the hobgoblins die, the new pair of Glyph Keepers will spawn. Whatever side the Resonant Glyph Keeper spawned on the first time, the second Resonant Glyph Keeper will spawn on the same side as the last. This will make things easier for your relic holder to know where to go and what runes to read. Again, kill the 2 Glyph Keepers and call out the glyphs that you see. Find the repeat glyph, and this is your second and last key to open the door. When the second 2 Glyph Keepers die, this will spawn a second knight with a white shield to kill to extend the timer. Walk up to the door, shoot the 2 symbols required, order does not matter, and the door will open into the next foyer. A couple of quick notes before moving on regarding this first room. There will be an overload hobgoblin that spawns on the left side of the room down on a lower platform. You don't need to kill him. You can if you want to, if his very presence is obnoxious to you and you want to kill him, that's fine. But we left him alone. Unless you stay up on that first raised platform, he can't really see you or hurt you. He just stays on his little platform. So just don't stay in his sightlines or he'll mess you up. Another tip, this is the easy room. So honestly, you don't need to bother with using your supers here really. Save them for the next couple of rooms. Another tip, make sure that you have your appropriate ammo finders and run ad clearing builds. Void wells and volatile rounds make short work of these guys. Don't worry about having, saving your special ammo. You're going to be killing so many dudes that you're going to have ammo for days, or at least you should. We never ran into an ammo problem, which was kind of refreshing, having just come away from the Caretaker encounter, which was heavily dependent on ammo. Alright, so you're in the foyer just before big room number 2. When you walk in, a bunch of screebs are going to spawn. Kill them before going too far in. Now, everyone who is carrying a relic needs to place them in their pedestals. Now, here's where things start to get a little tricky. There will now be not 1, not 2, but 3 relics to manage, meaning half of your team will be running around with relics instead of their standard kits, and half of your team will be just running as guardians. But if you're fast enough getting to these foyer rooms where relic swaps happen, you can play the clock a little bit, and that's what we did. We had our strongest ad control people try to stay away from the relics, and we had our strong relic runners who were really in the groove using these things. We wanted them to use the relics as much as possible. So if you have time on the clock left, you can have the shield relic person deposit the shield, but have the darkness relic holder just hang on to their relic until the clock starts to get down to 5 seconds or so. That way, the shield relic can run it back-to-back times if they choose to or want to. Just an option. It's not necessary, but it's just something that we chose to do. But like I said, you have 3 relics now. You have the darkness relic that you've had since the entry room, the shield relic that you've had now since the beginning of the first room, and now you have a new one, a taken relic like we've seen before in Destiny 2. The other 2 relics will keep their same jobs. The darkness relic needs to read runes from resonant glyph keepers and kill the enemy with the white shield to extend the timer. Side note, in this room it will be a hobgoblin floating in the middle of the room on a platform instead of a knight. The shield relic holder needs to go back and forth from one side to the next and cleanse with the cleansing shield. And the taken relic holder needs to find the eyes of Riven, these darkness orbs, around the room and cleanse them by using your grenade button. If you don't destroy these taken orbs around the room, they'll provide immunity to any combatants in the area, keeping your team from progressing. Now this room gets a little bit hectic, so let me offer some advice up front. We saw teams using lots of different strategies here, but we landed on one that truly instantly simplified the entire encounter and made this room and the next one go so much faster and easier. We designated 3 teams of 2 to do specific jobs from here to the end of the encounter, starting at this room all the way to the end of the 3rd room. We all leave the room together and clear the first platform, including the first Eye of Riven, and then we split up. Team 1, first team of 2, is going to go up the stairs to the left and clear all the ads and hobgoblins up there to spawn their first glyph keeper. Team 2, second team of 2, goes up the right stairs and kills their ads and hobgoblins to spawn their first glyph keeper. Team 3 is the relic team. This team of 2 includes the darkness relic to cleanse the eyes of Riven. This team of 2 includes the new taken relic that we just picked up to cleanse the eyes of Riven, and the other teammate is the shield relic holder. After cleansing the first eye just outside the front door, their job is to identify which side of the room has the first eye after that. You can usually see the left eye from the bottom of the stairs if it's there, so you'll know if it's up there immediately. If you see nothing, then go right up the right stairs and cleanse the eye up there. The shield relic holder will always, this is important by the way, pay attention, the shield relic holder should always walk with the taken relic holder. Walk with them up to the eyes of Riven and shield them while they are cleansing the eyes, as you can often easily die while doing this in the middle of a group of ads. Because you're not shooting the ads, you're trying to cleanse this eye. You can go down without protecting yourself. And obviously no one else can damage these combatants because they're protected by that eye. So you need the shield holder to provide protection for you while you go up and cleanse this eye. After the eye is cleansed, they'll help kill the Glyph Keeper with the team that's on that side of the room, read the runes if they need to, offer a quick cleanse for that team to keep their pervading darkness debuff stacks in check. Then they move across the floating platforms to the other side of the map to cleanse the other team and help with the next eye, which will be further up on the other side. They'll just zigzag back and forth doing this until you get to the door at the top and regroup as a full team. We had team 1 that goes left take the darkness relic, by the way, the third relic. The relic is a powerful weapon against ads, and from the left side of the room, it's a little easier to line up a shot on the shielded hobgoblin in the middle to extend the timer and keep everyone from wiping. After you clear your first set of Glyph Keepers and determine the first rune for the door, progress up the stairs to the second stage. If you're on the left side of the room, keep an eye on the ledge above you here that spawns the hobgoblins. They can shoot straight down on you like fish in a barrel, so use heavy or special to wipe them out quickly. You will have an overload champion to deal with as well, so make sure that both teams 1 and team 2 have the means to deal with overloads in their kit. Kill the second group of Glyph Keepers and determine the second rune for the door. Regroup after killing the second shielded hobgoblin and open the door. Screebs spawn just inside the door, so be careful running in. One quick word of advice on this second room. Be very liberal with your supers. We used roaming supers for this encounter, as you can alternate with your teammate. My partner supered wave 1 while I supered wave 2 to clear ads quickly and help us regroup as quickly as possible to maximize our time going into the final room. And you can see we have a ton of time on the clock. We are very comfortable in this foyer, and we've got a lot of time to kill. Alright, so now you're in the foyer just before the final main room. You're almost there. Go ahead and have the shield and taken relic holders place their relics in the pedestals, and have the darkness relic holder keep theirs in their hands for now if you have time on the clock. This will give everyone a moment to reload their guns, get some cooldown energy, and prepare for the final room. A few things to note here before we get cruising. We had the shield and taken relic holders from the last room continue their jobs in this room. We found it easier just to have everyone keep their exact same roles going into this final room. They put their relics down as soon as they get in, while the darkness relic holder keeps theirs until the time goes down. This lets the others get rid of their relic debuffs so they can pick up their relics for the last room. We had the darkness relic holder from last room switch with his teammate from room 2. So their teammate who went on the left side of room 2 with them now picks up the relic, the darkness relic. And in this final room, they'll be looking for a shielded knight in the center floating platform whenever each pair of Glyph Keepers goes down. This final room is really wide open and has some long sight lines, so if you wanted to swap to a scout rifle or something to help in those long open areas, feel free to do so in your downtime before the door opens. Now each team from the last room is going to literally do the exact same thing in this room. Left team of 2 goes left. Right team of 2 goes right, and the relic team zigzags back and forth from team to team, offering cleanses and purging any eyes of Riven or darkness orbs that they see along the way. When the door opens, there is danger very close. There will be shielded enemies right outside the door. You could have a teammate throw a smoke grenade and turn the relic team invis, or just have the relic team walk out first together with the shield relic up to protect the taken relic holder. Let them see which side the Eye of Riven is on. Go cleanse it before the rest of the team comes out swinging. There's not a lot of space to work with here. This platform is small, so take your time. Let the relic team do their thing without bumping them off the map and crowding them. Once the door platform is cleared, the teams split up. Right team immediately goes right, and the first set of hobgoblins and glyph keepers are just in these first rooms on both sides, so use ad clearing weapons and abilities to just clean the whole place out. We used Deathbringer a lot in this raid, as it was super helpful in instances like this. So just let it go in the room and clear it for you, especially with volatile rounds applied to it. Drop your glyph keepers, get your cleanses, determine your first rune, and move up. This is important. Make sure that when the first set of glyph keepers goes down, the darkness relic holder should find and kill the taken knight to extend the timer immediately. When you move up, don't use the central platforms that are floating unless you're the relic team. This is important. Hug the walls and move up into the second space without getting into the middle of the map. The glyph keepers won't be here, but overload hobgoblins will be. If you leave them behind you, they'll kill you. If you use the central platforms too much, you'll have little cover and will get sniped easily. Hug the walls, stun your champion, take him out. This is the part that wiped us the most. This last set of glyph keepers. They are far away. You can't really sit back and dawdle. Get your cleanses and go get those clowns so that you can spawn your last knight and extend your timer. If you don't, then your run is a wash. We saved our final roaming supers for this part. It's so open and exposed that we just decided to pop our supers and go up there and clean the whole platform out. Read our runes, get our callouts, extend the timer, and get comfortably into the final room with a lot of time on the clock, and that's exactly what we did. We opened the final door, and now you have to clear out the ads and deposit the relics into their final resting spots. This will end the encounter and the timer for the wipe, and grant you your loot. Whew. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to give you a detailed breakdown of each room and everything that you needed to know. A couple of final tips. The shield relic will block your rockets if you shoot them from outside of that shield relic. So don't try to shoot through it unless you are comfortably inside. That's another reason we liked Deathbringer, was because it was void, synergized well with our void well builds. But also if it hit the relic, it doesn't do damage to the wielder, so you can't accidentally off yourself. Also, make sure you limit your callouts to necessary chatter only. This encounter is mega chaotic. It's best if you get set in your grooves and limit your talk to only the callouts needed to clear the encounter. And finally, this part is important. The trick to this encounter is to execute everything correctly, not quickly. The timer is there to make you feel pressure and to feel rushed. But trust me, rushing got us wiped a lot on contest mode. You want to go slowly and steadily, and keep your res tokens and make sure relics aren't getting dropped. If they fall off the map, you'll have to run all the way back to the foyer before and grab it again from the pedestal, which is usually a wipe. Alright, well thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful at all, please feel free to let me know with a supportive comment or a like on the video. Best of luck to you and your teams, and I hope that you get the fattest of all loot in the Vow of the Disciple raid. Bye-bye.